Welcome to the Carriker Chronicles, the People Show. Checking the pulse of Husker Nation, brought to you by DPS Concrete Construction. Check them out at dpsconstruction.net. Also, carrikerchronicles.com. Ladies and gentlemen, it's where all your Husker sports hopes and dreams will come true. Mike Ekeler is Nebraska's special teams coach, and this is my gut reaction to it. And if you're like me and you're pumped that Mike Ekeler is our new special teams coach, then smash that like button. You know, drill. As always, make sure you subscribe, ring that notification bell if you haven't done so yet. Literally in 39 minutes, I'm going to go record my interview with Grant Wisham. That's going to go out on Tuesday, 6 p.m. on YouTube, 7 p.m. on social media. That is our weekly show going out throughout the offseason and any necessary gut reactions like the one yesterday to Rocco Spindler committing. This one right now to Mike Ekeler. All right. And just a reminder, the Carriker Chronicles football camp is officially happening July 9th. I'll be there. Crouch is officially going to be there. I'm actually chatting with Grant Wisham about being there. I'm on Green about being there. A few other Husker legends as well. We'll keep you updated as we go along. But let's light this candle. Mike Ekeler, a guy who is from David City, Nebraska, who coached high school football here in the great Cornhusker State. Ended up playing linebacker for Kansas State, 91 through 94. Coached linebackers back here at its good old place of Nebraska under Bo Pelini, 2008 to 2010. I know for a fact he's had interest in this job all along since it became available, since it became an option. I just did a speaking gig in David City, and I met people who confirmed what I already knew. How about that? Okay. All right. And if you want to bring me in for a speaking gig, you can always send us a message, carrikerchronicles.com, go to About Us, contact us, something like that, send us a message. But when a bunch of the special team coordinators about a month ago were brought up as potential options, I did a whole deep dive into a bunch of them. And I remember looking at the time, and Mike Ekeler was ranked as a top 5 special teams coordinator in America. Now, if you didn't know, just a reminder, lots of big happenings this offseason. The Kool-Aid is running amok, ladies and gentlemen. The offseason national championship rings are on their way. All right. But if you didn't know, after Rocco's commitment yesterday, Nebraska has the #1 transfer portal class in the Big Ten. Well, we kind of did before, but it just strengthened it, and we moved up from 6th in the country to 5th. Okay, the 5th overall transfer portal class in the entire country as well. We are just ahead of Oregon and the cactus-looking thing. With all due respect to Indiana, I just don't like Mr. Cigarette. Okay, in the Big Ten. And then if you look overall, it's LSU, Ole Miss, Texas Tech, Auburn, and then the one northern team is Nebraska when you look across the country there, ladies and gentlemen. Ole Miss is going to be in that conversation each and every year. So is Florida State probably. But here's some interesting stats. All right, and I want to give a shout out to Steve Sipple for these. I heard these a while back. I noted them, and I was like, if Mike gets hired, when he gets hired, because I really thought he was going to be the guy, I'm like, I'm gonna use these. So shout out to Steve Sipple for these. Now, as we all know by now, heard a million times, Nebraska had 10 block kicks a year ago, 6 field goals, 6 PATs, 4 block punts. Okay, and ranked in the 100s in the country in 4 different special teams categories. Now, when you look at Mike Ekeler and his last 4 years with the Volunteers of Tennessee, they've only had one kick blocked in 4 years combined, and his special team units have had over 1,000 return yards. Keep in mind, Nebraska averages less than 5 yards per punt return over the past 2 years. All right, let's see. And it was actually 0 when you talk about block kicks, punts, field goals. It was 0 field goals and PATs that were blocked, I should say. All right, the specific return unit for Tennessee over the past 4 years, the specific return stat was 1,324 punt return yards, and they only allowed, think about this, 162 return yards against them. Now, I put out a post, and I think I even mentioned Andrew Marshall. Okay, he's an incoming guy, potential return. Ja'Cory Barney, they finally started using him towards the end of the year. He can do some time things, as we know. And with all the receivers we got, I wouldn't worry about wearing them out. We got plenty of talented receivers. But Andrew Marshall, okay, because the last time Nebraska averaged 10 yards per punt return was 9 years ago. And that's what every special teams coordinator wants. Anytime you return a punt or a kickoff, they want 10 yards. They want a first down. That's what it is. Okay, and incoming portal DB Andrew Marshall averages 10.7 yards per punt return. He also averages 41.4 yards per kick return. I don't know that that's a consistent thing that's going to stay going forward, because that would be a record. 41.4 yards per kick return. But our coverage units are going to be vastly better. 162 total return yards over the past few years at Tennessee. 1 block kick over the past 4 years combined. Over 1,000 return yards that Tennessee had versus allowing 162. That's a gargantuan difference. That's why he's a top 5 special teams coordinator in America. All right, now Mike Todd, via the comments, you can send in your comments, questions, concerns. I know it's a Monday morning. I know people are working. Hey, people are watching this now. I will look at your comments, and people can obviously see these down the road, this video down the road as well. But Mike Todd said, if we can just get to be average on special teams, that should get us 2 or 3 more wins. That's absolutely correct. Think back to Illinois. Yes, we had the missed tie in Lindenmeyer that was open for the touchdown, but we also had a field goal that we could have made too. A very makeable field goal. The snap was off. Cost us first Illinois. Think about Iowa. Very makeable field goal. John Holland made 8 straight field goals. He missed that one. It wasn't his fault. Watch, it was the snap. The snap was the issue. Matt Rule talked about in the press conference last, what was it, Saturday. It was the X's and O's were fine. I still think they need tweaking. When you allow that many blocks, especially on punts, 4-block punts, the snaps on the punts I thought were fine. It was the field goals, PATs, that were a dramatic issue. Okay, but you get the snaps figured out. You get the protection figured out, the X's and O's figured out. You can be significantly better on special teams just to average. And just think if we were somehow above average. Just think about the days of DeMornay Pearsonell and back in the days when we used to block kicks and have the advantage on special teams. Just think about that. But let's just get to average. And he's right. It's at least 2 more wins from last year, maybe more. Who knows? All right. Jeff Lascos, with those stats, it all seems almost as if we didn't have any coaching on special teams. Well, it was rough. Okay. All due respect to our Ed Foley. All right. He's had a great career. Now, I got some more thoughts on the special teams, our coordinators as a whole. All right. But I want to give a shout out to our sponsors, DPS Concrete Construction. Check them out at dpsconstruction.net. They do a phenomenal job, ladies and gentlemen. There is no one better. Jason Armstrong. If this is your line of work that you do, go to dpsconstruction.net. Talk to Jason. Let him know that Adam sent you. There is no better boss. We're going to start promoting more of his businesses because he does a good job in general as well. But dpsconstruction.net, if this is the type of work you need done, that's a site to visit. Also, Allen Capital Group. This is the group that does my family's finances. Why do they do them? Why did I make the switch? I made the switch because honestly, I wanted an upgrade, and I knew that they had integrity. I knew that they were spoken about very positively from everyone that I talked to, and I knew that they were smart with what they did. All right. They give you the opportunity to make money while doing their best to protect your downside. Okay, Allen Capital Group, next level solutions for next level needs. They have offices in Grand Island, Omaha, Ogallala, and Scotts Bluff. Check them out at allencapgroup.com. That's ALLENCAP group.com. Now, my final thoughts on the coordinators as a whole. And I'll talk more about this stuff, special teams, et cetera, coordinators as a whole throughout the offseason. All right, I've said I think Dana Holgerson's a top 3 offensive coordinator in the country. I don't need to belabor that. Although top 2, because now Chip Kelly is in the Raiders. So now top 2, I think it's Dana and Gus Malzahn. All right, Chip Kelly going to get $6 million a year to be the offensive coordinator at the Raiders. He's now the highest paid offensive coordinator in the entire NFL. Ohio State lost their offensive coordinator. They lost their defensive coordinator, both former head coaches. So Ryan Day could basically just be the CEO and go out and fundraise. That's what he did. He fundraised. Okay. And now Jim Knowles, former head coach, I think he's the highest defensive coordinator, paid defensive coordinator in college football, over $3 million a year now for Penn State. So I'm curious to see what Ohio State does. But more importantly, our coordinators. I think Dana Holgerson is now a top 2 offensive coordinator in the country, him and Gus Malzahn. You look at Mike Ekeler. I've told you, top 5 in the country. I've seen that multiple places. Young guy, 53 years old, only got a bright future. John Butler. I know it's a wait and see. He's got one of the top resumes you're going to see. Okay. And I know internally, discussed this before, they're happy inside that football facility with John Butler as their D coordinator. We'll see how it plays out. He's got like a top 15 resume. All right. He's got a top 15 resume. So I'm excited to see what he can do. When you look at the defense, I talked about it. Can we just stay top 20? Stop top 20 in the country? Top 25, even top 25. We've got a lot of youth up front, a lot of youth in general, explosive athletes at the linebacker spot, a lot of returning guys in the secondary. What's it going to look like up front on the D-line is what we got to wait and see. Can we be top 20, top 25? All right. So you got a top 2 OC, a top 5 special teams coordinator. You've got a guy with the top 15 resume and a lot of talented, explosive athletes in that second level, all right, of the defense, and third level of the defense. So you start to look at this. Could we potentially have a top 10 coordinator trio in the country? I know it sounds like offseason Kool-Aid, but it's a legit thought. Now, is it a fact yet? No, it's not a fact yet at all. They haven't even had a practice yet, let alone played games, let alone won a game. But it's a potential. It's a very realistic thing that could potentially come True. All right. Got any questions, thoughts, comments, concerns here? All right. Dominic Krajewski, I hope I said that right. Seems like we have a total package of the game now. When it comes to all three sides of the ball, it's like, oh, yes. Like Ekeler and Holgerson are absolutely proven. Butler's got the resume, just got to show it. Okay. Let's see what else we got here. Hey, keep sending them all in. I love your comments, love your questions, your concerns. Your boss won't miss you taking a break from work. All right, Nebraska basketball. It's like a roller coaster ride with that team. What's going on? But here we go. Behind the 51 combined points from Bryce Williams and Juwan Gary, Nebraska basketball pulled it off for its second top 25 upset in a row. 2 games in a row, they beat a top 25 team. Went into Eugene, Oregon, beat number 16 Oregon 77-71. Is their 4th win versus a ranked team this year. The most amount of wins they've had versus a ranked team since 1998, the 98-99 season. You look at their last 4 games. I don't want to put the cart before the horse. But Nebraska's remaining Big Ten road games, I should say. Remaining Big Ten road games. 2-8, 3-8, 3-8, 5-6. That's the record of their opponents on those road games. All right. And they had a tough stretch here. These 8 games was the toughest stretch of their season. The remainder of their schedule is not as tough. I'm curious to see what can happen. As always, you can follow me on X, TikTok, Facebook, Instagram. Check out the website, carrickerchronicles.com. All right. Somebody says, Andrew says, maybe next year we can upgrade the O-line coach. Mason Husker Nation says, I'd rather keep Dominic. Hey, let's just see how the O-line plays this year. Here are my questions for you fine folks at home. Number 1, with Mike Ekeler as our special teams coordinator, can we average, above average, average? Do you feel good about us being an average special teams unit next year? Think about it. We got Jack McAllister, 3-year starter punter coming in from Washington. We got long snapper Kevin Galick, one of the top rated PFF, Pro Football Focus long snappers in the country, regardless of SCS, FBS, whatever. We got a great kicker battle. John Hull versus Tristan Alvano. It's going to be a great kicker battle. Ja'Cory Barney, Andrew Marshall, potentially returning kicks. All right. Do you feel good about us at least being an average special teams unit next year? Number 2, can we be a top 20 defense again next year? Not can. Will we be a top 20 defense again next year? Number 3, will Nebraska basketball make the NCAA tournament? All right, ladies and gentlemen, get back to work. Until next time, go Big Red. And always remember, thank you for joining me to throw the belt. I'm Batman. I've always wanted to say that.